All right, so are you ready to get into something really important?
I am.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We're talking all about how technology impacts kids. I think, you see these articles all the time that are like, kids are digital natives, they'll figure it out, it's their world now.
Right.
But is that really true?
Well, that's what we're diving into today,
Yeah.
right? I think we're looking at this idea of, kids and their relationship with technology.
Right, and we have a whole bunch of sources for this deep dive.
Yeah.
And they're saying stuff like, they'll pick it up in no time and it's their world now. We need to adapt.
Right.
And you hear that kind of stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But how much is that really true?
Well, I think there's a disconnect. On the one hand, yes, absolutely. Kids these days are incredibly adept at using all the latest technology. They can pick up a new device and figure out, how to use all the features in no time.
Yeah.
But does that really mean they understand how to use it in a healthy way? Or that they get, the long-term impact it could have on their lives?
Right, like just because they can use it doesn't mean they should.
Exactly. I think a good analogy is you wouldn't just hand your toddler a car key just because they figured out how to reach the ignition, right?
Right, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Like they might be able to turn the key and honk the horn, but they definitely shouldn't be driving.
Haha, exactly. And, one of the things that we're seeing more and more these days with this, increasing access to technology for young kids is the rise of things like digital addiction. And there's this really powerful story in one of the pieces we looked at about an 11-year-old boy.
Okay.
And he was diagnosed with digital addiction. And the thing that really stuck out to me was that he started using devices with no restrictions at age 4.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 years old. I mean, think about that. That's before most kids even start kindergarten.
Yeah, and for him to already be dealing with those kinds of consequences at that age,
Yeah.
that's heavy. What does that tell us?
Well, I think it really highlights the need for, adults to be more proactive about, setting boundaries and, providing guidance. And it's not enough to just wait until there's a problem and then try to react.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be having these conversations early on and, really setting our kids up for success. And one of the things that this boy said that really hit me hard is he said, "Please tell adults to care what kids do. We can't do it ourselves. It's too tough."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's basically saying, kids need help. We can't do this alone.
And it's so easy to just assume that they'll figure it out on their own right,
Right.
that they're digital natives. But that quote, it's kind of chilling
Yeah,
because it makes you think how many other kids are out there feeling the same way but aren't able to put it into words.
absolutely. And that's why it's so important for us as parents, as educators, as anyone who works with kids to really pay attention to the signs.
Mm-hmm.
Not just how much time they're spending on screens, but what are they actually doing online?
All right, what are they looking at? What are they engaging with?
How is it making them feel? Are they using technology as a way to connect with others or as a way to escape?
Right, like are they isolating themselves with their devices?
Exactly. And it's not easy. It's a complicated issue, but I think the first step is just acknowledging that there is a disconnect here.
Right, so we can't just keep doing what we've been doing.
Right. And hoping that everything's going to be fine. We need to actually do something about this.
So what can we do?
Well, like I said before, I think the first step is just being aware,
Right.
recognizing that this is an issue and that we need to be proactive. And then I think it's about shifting from being passive observers to actually being active guides.
Okay.
Think about it like teaching a kid to ride a bike.
Okay.
You don't just give them a bike and say good luck, right?
No.
You teach them how to ride it safely, you make sure they wear a helmet,
Yeah.
you run alongside them holding onto the seat until they get their balance, and then you slowly let go.
Right, so it's about, setting boundaries, having conversations.
Exactly. And modeling those healthy tech habits ourselves, Kids learn by watching us.
Right, they see what we do more than they hear what we say.
Absolutely. And it's not just about restricting their access to technology. It's about teaching them how to use it in a way that benefits them.
Right, so encouraging them to, engage with content that sparks their curiosity or their creativity.
Right.
Helping them develop those critical thinking skills.
Exactly. And media literacy skills so that they can, navigate the online world safely and responsibly.
This has been a really eye-opening deep dive.
Yeah, it really has.
So what are your biggest takeaways? What are you still thinking about now?
Well, I keep coming back to this question. How can we make sure that technology is actually adding value to these kids' lives and not just becoming a detriment?
Right.
you know? And I think that's a question that all of us need to be thinking about and working on together, you
Yeah.
know? It's not about being afraid of technology. Technology itself isn't the villain here.
Right.
It's about being intentional about how we use it.
And how we help kids use it.
Exactly. And I think if we can do that, then we can really help the next generation thrive in this, increasingly digital world.
This has been great. It feels like we've just scratched the surface here.
We really have.
So much more to talk about.
There is.
But until next time, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate all your insight on this.
It's been a pleasure.
And to everyone listening, keep thinking about this. What small step can you take this week to ensure that tech in your life and the lives of the kids around you is being used for good?
Great question.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
See you then.